Hello, I'm Pastor Julianne Smek, and I serve Hope Lutheran Church in Columbus. Welcome to Beauty in the Dust, Lenten Reflections on Ordinary Things. This is the devotion from March 12th on the theme, Oil. Today's reading is Psalm 23, and I'm reading from the New Revised Standard Version. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. This psalm has so many layers of meaning. I'm sure it does for you. I know that it does for me. In fact, the last time I read it at a funeral was at my Uncle Jim's funeral. He was a retired pastor. He'd served over 50 years in ordained ministry. As I grew up, he always served a 2-point parish in Upper Sandusky. Just say that on the day of his funeral, the words were a balm to my soul. I have read those words at many funerals through the years, and they have similar effect, but on that day, the words were alive in a new way. When I say they were a balm, I mean, I literally felt them covering me, working their way into my body through my pores, working into my heart, spreading throughout my spirit. In moments like that, the word oil perfectly captures the ways that God's grace covers us and works into our lives. It gives that visceral understanding of God's healing grace. At Stony Lake Lutheran Camp in New Era, Michigan, and before that at the former Mishaluka in Fairview, one of my favorite songs was affectionately known as Surely. Based on the 23rd Psalm, one verse proclaims, "Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life." People may have been singing this very song down here at Lutheran Memorial or Camp Moana, but that's where I learned it. The evolution of the song through the years was kind of fascinating, because when I first heard it, and it could have been like 15, even 20 years ago, I was startled when they sang, "You anoint my head with oil," and then they shouted out with all the energy and enthusiasm that young people of that age just tap right into, and they shouted, "Yuck!" And I remember thinking, yuck? Yuck? We're talking about God's grace here. We're talking about God's grace in our lives. And you're going to say, yuck? But to be fair, when I anoint a person with oil, it generally involves taking, forefinger or thumb, dipping it in oil, and then making the sign of the cross on the forehead of the person being anointed. I have never taken up, a flask filled with oil, which I would then pour over their head. So I didn't say anything. But a few years later, that song did change. The words changed from yuck to yes. You anoint my head with oil. Yes. And my cup, it overflows with love, peace, and joy. Surely, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. All the days of my life. Yes.